Go ahead.
You are listening to the VAHOMA podcast. Be sure to subscribe.
Thank you. Y'all ready?
Sure.
All right. Cat's ready too. Hi, and welcome to the VAHOMA podcast, episode 28. I'm Tim Abbott. With me is Andrew Smith.
Hello.
Chris Mason.
Hello.
And Agent M is off on the side over here.
Hi.
I think that
was
picked
too
up.
perfect.
We'll see. Yeah, I'll leave the cat's intro
Yeah.
staying in. I don't know if the people at the mic picked it up or not. So, Idiot Tim here got the mixer. Considering we haven't gotten together in like 4 months. So,
Feels weird not being at the tower right now.
yeah. So it was, I had to make some adjustments to go back to the old mixer that we used for like the first 6 episodes that kind of caused a weird buzz at times and all sorts of stuff. So, hopefully this works all the way through with no problems, but we're going to wing it. So, on this episode, we will talk Call of Duty World War II Beta happened, which I played. Halo Wars 2, again, has had some stuff, and Agent M and Chris have talked that game and played it and stuff lately. And then we have some Far Cry 4 stuff. Chris has been playing that, so we'll be over on what we've been playing. And then PUBG. I've gotten bit bad by the bug. And then a little game came out. I think it's called Destiny 2. Supposedly, it's all right, but we'll probably end up having to talk about that a little bit, I guess.
Yes, we will.
So to start things off, we will go over about the Call of Duty World War II beta real quick. It was basically 3 modes or 3 maps, and then they had a battle mode, which was like 9v9 or something along those lines.
Refresh my memory again. Who's the developer?
This is Sledgehammer.
Okay.
Who did Infinite Warfare, right? Advanced Warfare was the last. Advanced Warfare was the last one that came out, and that one's terrible. That was Infinity Wars. Infinite Warfare had the cool story. Multiplayer was.
Which one had Kevin Spacey?
That was Infinite Warfare. Sledgehammers. So I'm excited to see what they're going to do for the story mode and stuff along those lines for this. But the multiplayer, I actually had a good time with it. It was fun. It had some interesting mechanics and stuff along those lines. Some things were kind of like,
Are you wall jumping still?
No wall jumping.
World War II.
No World War II wall jumping. It is all lane based. Like, you're on the ground.
I might actually give this one a chance.
Trying to, flank your enemies and stuff along those lines. It's still, it's still Call of Duty's gunplay. So, it's still, you get shot a few times, you're going to drop. Mm-hmm. But the weapons, some weapons feel better than others, or some I was like, this thing is terrible, versus some that's like, but each class has different ones that you can start with. They kind of give you different generic abilities. The shotgun's really powerful, so I'm assuming they'll just maybe nerf that a little bit. Probably. Because it was ridiculous.
Well, shotguns are meant to be powerful. It's just how the distance is.
Yeah, the range was a little crazy. But so we'll figure that out. But it was I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to when it comes out. I'm a fan of Call of Duty's multiplayer. So it felt like Call of Duty enough to where it wasn't going to be a hindrance. Didn't feel like a bullet, but no one felt like a bullet sponge. Like, when you're shooting somebody, it did feel like you were hitting. Like, it made the nice, like, at least thud noise to it. Which Advanced Warfare, when I played the beta for that, it just felt like bland. So this one's nice, at least enough that it's going back to World War II is a nice change. So it was interesting enough to where I can be excited for it. There is some, like, some of the kill streaks and stuff are a little interesting. Like, oh, you're dropping a bomb, but it was like you can control this bomb, like remote control it a little bit, and I was like, don't think that would be in a World War II, but maybe it was. I don't.
Well, it's probably just for fun when you're.
Yeah, but they're just trying to find different ways of using generic abilities and stuff. But overall, I thought it was fairly well done. It was fun. It was at least encouraging enough to where I was, when the game comes out, I can see playing it. So
I watched it streamed for a couple of streamers stream it, but it sure looks fun. But I'm not that interested in it. Fell off the Call of Duty. The past 2 ones I haven't even bothered with, so.
Yeah, I mean, always still.
I don't want to be that guy like Call of Duty sucks, but I'm just like, I have PUBG and Overwatch and Rocket, all these other multiplayer games that I can play if I want to.
Yep. So there was that. And so we'll move on. Halo Wars 2 had an update.
Yes, it did. The Awakening DLC came out, and that's the one I've been looking forward to for quite a while. H&M and myself as well. So this one is not included with the Season Pass, which is the first. I just want to put that out there. This is the first thing that does not include it with the Season Pass. You got everything else, which is like over 10 leaders, and every leader has unique powers, abilities, and units, which make it worth it. So I feel like the Season Pass, one of the few times this is a Season Pass that was well worth it. So the Awakening is basically, the storyline is the Banished, which are the bad guys, basically are going after High Charity, and they unleash the Flood to the Banished. Mm-hmm. And that's where the story comes in, is basically the Banished versus the Flood. And then basically with the DLC, you got 2 new leaders, Vortis and Pavium. You got 2 new multiplayer maps, which is the one thing I will say, if I had a small critique, I wish they would have done more of, because they have not released any new maps. During all these DLCs that they've come out with, it's all been leaders. It hasn't been any new maps. So the map rotation kind of got stale. But having 2 new multiplayer maps was pretty cool to have as well. And then, of course, the Terminus Firefight mode, which is basically up to 3 people. There's a Terminus right in the middle of the map that is healing itself consistently. You can make turrets around. There's 3 points on it that you have to defend. Once those points are done, then the Terminus healing field goes away, so any damage is now permanent damage to it. Wave after wave of Flood start coming from multiple directions. It's very much a different kind of play style, because it's very much like the Firefight and Blitz, whereas 3, 2, 1, go. And there's seconds between waves, not minutes. So you have a base, and there are, it looks like there's other build spots that you can build. And then if you go away from your base, there are kind of like Gears of War-ish barricades that you can build and upgrade at choke points. And then each time you do that, you can have more turrets. So we started kind of moving out a little bit. Took us a couple of times, because you have to adapt your game style, because it's all about the rush. It's all about, you can't sit back. Like, I was kind of thinking you might be able to sit back and play a little bit more defense. No, they're coming at you full force. So you have to do a lot of low-level units to start with, and then at the same time, you got to decide where to spend your power, where to spend your upgrades, because you have very little. Everything needs to go into units to stop them from coming, and then defensive turrets and stuff like that. So I'm enjoying it. We're trying to figure out the right mix, and having a third person would be a real big advantage. Because right now, H&M's on one side, I'm on the other, which leaves the middle kind of open. So taking 50% of the map's a bit much at the moment. Like I said, having a third person. If anybody out there that has Halo Wars 2 that would like to get the DLC,
Chris Craig,
yes,
looking
at you, Goo.
Oh.
Looking at you, Goo, and you, Tim.
I've been bit by PUBG.
I know you've been bit,
I ain't coming away from PUBG.
You need to come back eventually.
We did make it to wave 32.
Yeah, we made it to wave.
Not bad on our 3rd or 4th try.
And all those achievements we got were just because it rallies points and stuff, and it all counts for experience towards your multiplayer rank as well. And you could do public rank. Probably we did a private match, and that counted which is kind of nice, because that's the first private thing that I've seen in Halo Wars 2 that you get experience towards your multiplayer rank.
Good.
Anything else that you do private, you don't get any experience for. It's just fun to do. But this actually gave us, like I said, experience towards your rank, which was kind of a nice little, an extra tidbit to it. And I have found my personal savior, Pavium. I love that leader so much. What was the count last time, H&M?
It was 19
leaders. 19
leaders.
different leaders. Keep in mind,
wow,
there's
I haven't
only
been on that
6.
game in a while.
Wow.
Yeah. When you get on, you've missed a couple. The
Yeah.
But Halo Wars 1 had 6. I just want to throw that out there. But out of the 19 leaders, this one is like so much tailor-made for me. Which is the nice thing, is every time they're very similar. Every leader is very similar to another leader, but there are some subtle differences. And you can find those leaders that are to your play style. And that's one nice thing, I think, for having multiple leaders. And again, having unique powers and some unique units of some kind that make it different are really nice. So Pavium, he has an ability that actually will increase the production of whatever around the circle. So I can increase my power. I can increase, for a limited time, my resource production. His leader power is just like Atriox. Atriox's leader power when the main unit comes out and he can shoot. I don't like the ones that you can't shoot air. Because just like when I played original Halo Wars, I like having that one leader from the Covenant, like Prophet or Regret, and I like walking around with him and doing a lot with him while I'm kind of building up resources in my base. And this guy seems to be very much to my play style, more so than I found other ones. The other ones I found, I like Colony, I like Atriox, but there was always a couple things, well, I'll never use those powers. There's nothing about this guy I don't like. There's no power that he has that I don't like. There's an order in which I'm kind of figuring out what I like to get first, but there's nothing about this guy I don't like at all. So, and it's a nice thing to have the fact that I like the Banished, Agent M likes the UNSC, so having that nice mix in there is good for that terminus firefighting and then multiplayer matches as well. Nice. So I'm enjoying it. For $19.99, I think you get a good deal. I think with the 2 new leaders, 2 new maps, the terminus firefight mode. Also you get, I forgot to mention this, 5 new campaign missions as well.
That's cool.
So you get to see the story of, the Banished versus the Flood. Like I said, it's they're basically 2 brothers, and they're working for Atriox, and you're seeing a different side of it at the same time that looks like Halo Wars 2 is happening. So it's kind of nice. So between that, the campaign missions and everything, I think $19.99 is a fair price.
Cool. We're going to pause just for 1 second while I check something. So I just want to make sure all that was recording correctly before we move forward more. So, pausing 1 second. And we're back. Okay, I'm used to seeing a lot of waves on our little thing there, and I didn't see a lot. So, I just want to make sure that everything Chris was saying actually recorded. I don't want to go for another, 30 minutes and then get to the end and be like, oh, none of it recorded. So,
Not like that's ever happened.
Yeah. Okay, yes, it happened one time because I didn't have, the mixer plugged in. We used the laptop microphone. We found that was a thing. I digress. Anyways, so we moved on to Far Cry 4, but more like what we've been playing. So, Chris, you want to start off with what you've been playing other than Destiny 2? Because I know you've been playing that a lot.
Far Cry 4.
And Far Cry 4. What you've been playing Far Cry 4 and what?
Destiny 2. And Halo Wars 2.
Okay, so you talked Halo Wars 2. We're going to talk Destiny 2. Tell me about Far Cry.
Far Cry, I'm still enjoying it. The game is absolutely huge.
Yes.
The game is huge, and the only thing I'm not liking it is from the last podcast I had finished leveling up and I had uncovered exactly 50% of the map. It was 50% through the story, but like I was saying, I did everything, almost everything. Because you get experience for everything you do. Every collectible you find, every poster you tear down, every enemy you kill, you get experience. I did all the side missions, all the little extra missions, did everything on there. So I had maxed out. I have nowhere to go with my levels. So, and that was at 50% through the game.
I know, that was the thing to do.
Yeah.
And so that's the only thing I didn't care for, was because now the only motivation I have to go back and do anything for once you cross the bridge to Northern Karat, it's the same kind of thing. You've got, all the collectibles and everything, except I'm not going and doing any of it because I get no experience. Well, I get the experience, but I've got 37 skill points and nothing to spend them on. Because I've including the last one, you can upgrade 10 times on the right side with the elephant. Each one you can upgrade 10 times. I've maxed all those out. They're the time for your syringes, the use of your syringes. Mm-hmm. I've maxed all of those out again, all before I got to the bridge, because I did what I thought I was, doing was correct, which was I did all the missions that were there. So I feel like this, now that I know that this was a game that they didn't intend you to do that, I wouldn't have spent so much time and not doing the story. So now all I'm doing is capturing the outposts, doing the bell towers, and then doing the story missions. I like the fact that the story missions are not just in Karat, that you can go basically to the Himalayas and do the mountain range ones. They've even got the Shangri-La missions. I don't know if you guys got into any of those.
I don't remember
where it's
exactly.
like the weird spirit world thing? Yeah, I've done some of those.
I didn't understand it, but I appreciated the fact that
It looked pretty. That's all I got out of those
yeah,
missions.
well, it handles differently. So, like I said, between the mountaintops, the Himalayas that you can't readily access, that you can only access through those missions, and then those, I appreciate the fact that it gave you even more gameplay in other places. So, to me, Far Cry 4. I mean, I heard Far Cry was really good. I played Far Cry the first 3 for like 30 minutes. Couldn't get into it. This one, once I got past that hook, I was done. I'm like, I absolutely loved it. I think it's amazing. I have to have Far Cry 5. I just don't think I will. Let me rephrase. No, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do all. I mean, let's face it. That's the way I play. I'm going to do the missions. Don't know if I'll find all the collectibles. The only motivation I have now that's the only thing I said I don't care for is the fact that there's not much motivation to do anything. All these other things that they have in the other half of Karat, they're all there. And I'm kind of sad because I don't want to go find all these places and do all this stuff because I have absolutely no motivation. And it's sad because there's so much there. They put so much time and effort into doing all that. I appreciate it. It's just like if you had some kind of upgrade system where it was all going
like
to something.
Just like a prestige, like just
something. Something that it was going for. That's
or maybe at least like the levels that he's at now was all for the first half of the game. Then, like, once you unlock the second half, it's like, well, here's more stuff you can upgrade, and here's more levels you can get.
Yeah, it just gave you so much, and I feel like that this is. Well, I don't feel like it. There has to be. There's no way a game gave you this much. Like they gave it to you with the intent of you're not going to do it all. And they did not met me. So I'm that game player that does that kind of stuff, but. I concentrated myself on the first half, and then now the second half I'm a bit sad because now I'm like, oh well, now I'm just going to go beat the game. So I haven't.
I hate to see you on like Witcher 3 where there's question marks everywhere.
Yeah,
and there's like
the first half. That's exactly what I did. Every question mark, even sometimes a question mark like where a spot once you found it, it gave you experience and says discovered. There were places that were up high in mountaintops that I'm like, okay, and some were down in. Caverns and stuff. So you just see where it is on the map, but you don't know high or low or how to get to it. Mm-hmm. And I spent, half an hour sometimes, with a little helicopter flying around the mountainside. I'm like, there's a question mark right here. I would fly all the way around the mountain. And I'm like, okay, I've eliminated that. And then I find this one little crevice where you're supposed to climb down. And that's sure enough where it was at. But I mean, it took time to do that. And I enjoyed it. I don't regret any of it. It's just, I'm just sad because I'm not going to do any of that in the second half because
there's nothing to motivate
there is nothing. I've maxed everything out and I didn't grind. It's not like Final Fantasy where I can just keep going to the same low level enemies 80,000 times. Well, I can do that if I want, but I can make that choice. I feel like you gave me these missions. They never came back. I didn't repeat myself on anything. I did everything one time that you gave me. I just feel like it gave too much. It needs to cut everything by half to make it, even the game out. But the gameplay is great. I feel like the controls are a bit wonky when it comes to using syringes. Like hold the LB button, then go to this wheel, this wheel versus this wheel. I've used 4 weapons the entire game. I've unlocked everything. Once you got that grenade launcher as a sidearm,
yeah, I remember getting that.
That's all I use. And it's like an instant kill, on just about anything. So I've quit being stealthy because I have no reason. So I walk into a base that says hard and I'm just blasting away. I'm like, I don't care anymore. I'm like, go get the alarm. Call them up. Come on. Helicopters are coming. I'm just blasting them down. I just don't feel like I should be this overpowered at halfway through the game. And like I said, I didn't grind for it. It's not like I did it to myself. I just did what you gave me. And I think the game gave us too much to do in that first half. But it's a great game. It's well worth the time and an effort to put into it, and I'm looking forward to Far Cry 5.
I agree.
It's a fun game. I'm sure it's cheap now if anyone hasn't played it.
Yeah, definitely.
Plus, they've got the Game of the Year edition out now that has 2 extra DLCs with it, which I haven't tried. It's like the Himalayas and something else.
I never played those.
Land of the Yetis or something like that. I forget what it was, but it's a little extra. It has nothing to do with the main story. It's just like a side thing. But that's what I got was the Game of the Year edition.
Nice. Andrew, what have you been playing?
PUBG.
Well, we're going to talk about that in a second.
Yeah, no, Rocket League. The only thing that probably is different, kind of probably random, is Mario plus Rabbids. I played that. I wasn't going to get it first because the Rabbids, I want to kill every one of them, but there's reviews because they're just so annoying. They're just anyway. Little buggy eyes. Anyway. It got such pretty decent reviews, and I kind of starting to get into the turn-based combat type stuff, and it does that. It's not really deep, but it's not straightforward either, because each enemy has different tiers. Like some will heal them, some will only shoot grenades, and the bosses are interesting. Like there's like a Rabid Kong. There's like a multi-stage setup, sort of like a. I don't know why I'm saying it, but it's like a strike from Destiny. So you go have like this guy do this thing first, and he moves over here, does something else. So it's like a little like mini like boss raid or whatever. The movement is what I like the most because like in most turn-based you can only move like 5 or 6 squares, but in this you can run over here, jump off, say like Mario or Luigi, jump on a bad guy, then you can go like all the way before you know you can have like guys like spread out all over the place. It's a fun. There's different weapons you can buy and upgrade, and there's little puzzles to figure out to get more weapons. It's a fun little turn-based RPG that I like. That's probably the only different thing that I've been playing. Oh, and played like a couple minutes of Forza 7.
I did play Final Fantasy 15 as well. I have started that.
Yeah. You want to talk about that real quick?
RPG? Yeah, we can.
Okay, go ahead.
Final Fantasy 15, I did start that while I was out on paternity leave, so I've enjoyed that. I stopped because Destiny 2 did come out, so I stopped playing it, but it's definitely one that I feel like was worth the wait. I heard the story was really good. So far, the story is good. It's typical Final Fantasy fashion, turn-based, but the combat system is basically I can run away. It's turn-based. You can make it turn-based if you want. There's a wait mode that you can, if you stop moving, it has a little bar that comes up there. It gives you time to...
I know they did that in 15.
Yeah, you can queue everything up or take a minute to, use Libra and scan the enemy for the weaknesses and stuff, and you can... and then it takes like 45 seconds for the bar to deplete. I've never depleted it, but it's plenty of time to switch you. And at that point, you can switch out your spells, your weapons to whatever is in front of you if you need to at that point, or just take a breather. But I'm enjoying it. It's typical Final Fantasy, as in I've walked everywhere, even though you can drive. Just like, ooh, what's over this hill? Ooh, what's over here? I like the fact that you can see the enemies and they're not just random encounters. You can see them, and if you want to go into them, you can. Nighttime's kind of cool because nighttime there's different enemies that come out and they're a lot more overpowered, and like a lot of them are really big. I like the scope and scale. Like I like walking up to something and looking up, and I'm like, oh god, I don't want to fight you.
It's like a God of War type.
Yeah,
scale.
it's very much big bad enemies like that are exactly like what you would think they would be. I walked up on a behemoth the other day, and it was exactly what a behemoth. Like it's not just it was huge, and I'm like, I don't want to mess with this guy, so I ran away. There are public events, sort of, in Final Fantasy 15. I have yet to partake in them, but I've discovered them. Let me rephrase: I did partake in it and died a horrible death, unbeknownst to me. Because what's over this hill? Went over the hill. And there are a bunch of bad guys, lower level, and the event is kill as many as you can. And there's a leaderboard on the side that will pop up, and it tells you what you're doing. I'm like, oh, okay, cool, so I'll partake in this. And then all of a sudden, this huge enemy just shows up out of nowhere. And what everybody who's partaking in the event is supposed to, team up against this thing. And when I came across it, I'm like way too early in the game to even try to take care of this, but there are so many different weapon types. There's daggers, there's swords, great swords, pole arms, and every weapon, all enemies have different, styles that they, things that they're weak against or strong against. I've been doing a lot of that. There's small side stuff that you can do, which is fishing, cooking. The one thing unique about the Final Fantasy's experience system is you basically have to cash it in. If you don't and you die, you've lost that experience. So if you go and
Dark Souls method of
if you play an hour and don't camp out or something, and you die, you've lost the experience. You're just done. So it encourages you to camp out more. And another reason it encourages you to camp out more is when you camp out, you also can cook food, and that gives you bonus abilities till the next day. And all the different varieties of food, meat, and vegetables that you come across that you can gather and stuff, and you learn different recipes and dishes, they have different extra effects. So cooking's a big part of it, including experience. And then it also, if you pay the guild, you can stay in hotels. you can't cook in a hotel, but the draw to saving in a hotel is you get to have a multiplier for your experience, 1.5, 2, or 3 times. So the first hotel I came across was a 2x, a 2-time multiplier. So I spent several hours, got about 10,000 experience banked, just walking around doing other things, and then went to the hotel, and I jumped up 7 levels.
Nice.
It really was. It was kind of a huge difference because, like I said, I knew where I could handle, where I couldn't. So I just kind of decided to do the classic Final Fantasy grind and spent a couple hours grinding on smaller enemies. Larger ones are worth it. Maxed out a bunch of, I'm like, it's worth me walking around because I can gather these berries and these potatoes are all growing over here. So I'm getting 99 of all of them. I'm like, well, I'm making it worth it doing it. But then when I came back and cashed in, I'm like, okay. Now I'm going to progress the story and move to a different area because there's not much left here. Now I'm 7 levels higher. I can handle a little bit more. But I like the fact, like I said, nighttime offers a different thing. I'm just kind of scratching the surface of it. I'm kind of excited to go back, but because this feels more like Lightning. I like the story of Final Fantasy, that trilogy, but this feels like a Final Fantasy VII. This feels like a Final Fantasy VIII. This feels more like a Final Fantasy X. The ones that I like that I'm used to than anything else. So I'm enjoying it. It's going to be a while before I get back to it because it's going to be my go-to. Okay, I'm kind of bored with everything else. Now I'm going to play some Final Fantasy because this is going to be a game for someone like me who's going to take a long time to beat, and I'm okay with that.
Nice. Hey, Janelle, do you want to talk about what you've been playing?
Pretty much the same thing as Chris, Halo Wars 2, Destiny 2, but I have been playing Dead Island Riptide.
Ooh.
I beat Dead Island, and I had bought Dead Island Riptide for like $4.99. It was on the Xbox store once, really cheap. So I decided to start playing that, not realizing that it's pretty much the exact same size as the original game. I thought it was a small game. It was going to take a lot less time, and I have done... Unfortunately, I'm like my brother in the respect that I do every single side mission first before I do the main objective. And I've put like 35 hours into the game and I'm only halfway done, so
nice.
I'm spending a lot of time. And the same problem with Far Cry 4 that he had because I adopt his playstyle, so I'm now at the point where I have like $1 million and nothing to spend it on, and I've got like 20 skill points and nothing to spend it on. I'm not as far as he is, but because I'm doing everything, I'm getting really bored. So.
I got you.
Yep.
That's cool. So, what I've been playing.
Go ahead, talk about
Destiny
PUBG.
2. We'll get to PUBG in a sec. But,
I can see you just chomping at the bit for it.
It's bad. But when I bought my gaming PC, because I bought my gaming PC specifically for PUBG, I wanted to work on some like aiming, like working with a mouse and keyboard.
So
and
you were
stuff.
actually using a mouse and keyboard?
Yes.
Yeah, I played with him. He gets kills with it too.
It's hard. So I bought.
I'm thinking Duke Nukem 3D is the only thing I can. Yeah. That's the last thing I played with.
So actually they had the Portal pack, so it was like Portal 1 and Portal 2 for like $20 or something like that, and I actually never beat Portal 1. So I figured I was like, well, it's the game where it's like I can work on aiming without having to be like shot at by getting used to using a mouse and a keyboard and stuff along those lines. But it's like I can take my time, So I actually beat Portal, the first Portal, and it's a really good game.
Yeah, both of them are really good games.
And Portal 2 is one of my favorite games of all time. So I haven't played it on the PC yet, but they also had a free mod that was for Portal 2 that adds more puzzles and stuff to it. And everything.
I think I have that too. I just haven't checked that out.
I haven't played it yet, but I got that. And then a few other things on my PC, but I haven't played it because all I've been playing is PUBG. And for the ones that listen to things, when I say PUBG, it's PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, but I'm assuming most people will know that at this point.
Yeah.
Considering they broke Steam's record for most concurrent players at one time of like 1.3 million people.
The game isn't even out yet. It's sold over 10 million copies already.
Sold 10 million copies, and at one point they had 1.3 million on at the exact same time playing. Which was, it beat Dota, which is huge. I don't know if you understand the significance.
Yeah, I know what Dota is.
But it's like Dota's one of the biggest things on Steam, and
didn't Halo 3 sell isn't it about 10 million or $13 million or million copies of like Halo 3 was sold or something like that? That's Game's not even out yet, and it's just like
And it's already
that's just
clipped 10 million.
crazy.
But now that I played more into it since the last time we talked, it's definitely one of those games that you go a whole game and if you get a kill, it's extremely satisfying. But it's we finally got a chicken dinner, which at the end of the game it says winner winner chicken dinner. And the whole game premise is basically like, you are one of 100 people that are dropped on this island, and it's either if you do solo or you're with teams or duos or whatever it is. You are trying to be the last team standing. If you get eliminated, that's it. You're done. There's no, hey, great job. It's like you finished. You're ninth out of 50 teams or 27 teams. You were ninth. Here's a little bit of experience that you gained because you maybe got a kill. But all right, exit out and do it again.
And the best thing about that is like you can catch yourself playing for like hours at a time because all you have to do is just exit the lobby, start a new game, and then like boom, you're in another match. It's like literally like that quick,
extremely fast.
So what is it that's so good?
It's just the addictiveness, I think, of the gameplay and just the competitiveness of it. As far as like for me, because you literally jump with nothing, you have no gear, nothing on you. So you basically jump and then.
So what chance do you have if somebody's been in the game for an hour and they've got gear?
Everyone starts at the exact same time. It's 100 people are on a plane. Plane's flying over the island, and then you basically pick a spot where you're going to jump out of the plane, and you jump out, you land. Then there's houses all over the place, and you go into the houses.
8 kilometer by 8 kilometer map. That's so big. Like it's a big.
And so
area.
when you land, it's then like you go into the houses, and then you're looking for backpacks, you're looking for armor, you're looking for guns, and then you'll find like, oh, I got a sweet assault rifle. Now, I just found this a scope I can use that lets me be able to shoot enemies from further away. And it's all by random chance and accuracy, and your gameplay and stuff like that comes into play.
I think the most addictive part is like the tense. Like after you play for a while, it's like the first time you play, you're gonna camp. You're gonna camp
That's
because
what I
you're
was
scared.
getting ready to say. It's like I'll just find me a hidey hole, and I'm just gonna wait for somebody to come.
But if you just wait, I mean, it's a strategy or whatever. But I think it's so tense and it's so rewarding when you get into a gunfight with somebody else and you come out on top. You're like, all right, let's find the next one. Let's go.
Exactly. It's one of those things. When you get a kill in that game, it is easily the most satisfying kill you will get in the game. Because it is one of those things, you just ended that guy's gameplay. He's done. He's got to go exit over and start again. He's got to go through the whole process of jumping again and all sorts of stuff.
Are you saying that you enjoy?
Oh, yeah.
Ending someone's game?
Oh, yeah.
Making them quit? Making them exit out?
It's one of those things that, again, it's all about trying, but the intense of it when you see somebody. And then,
or you have the drop on somebody, like, oh, I can't wait to surprise this guy.
I know that feeling. I know. I can imagine, the heart rate going up when you're like, oh, now what I do? I don't want to screw this up, and like.
And so it's different things. Like we were doing a duos game the other time, and then when we were like, oh, we're gonna land these random set of houses over here. No one would land here, so we jump and we're getting ready. There's 3 other teams that are landing with us. And I was like, oh my god! Like I don't have a weapon. I have nothing. So what's going to happen? So it's like I sprint into my house. I saw where I landed, and the guy landed over here, like just not that far away. I run in. Only gun I can find is a freaking crossbow, which it's a 1-hit kill with the crossbow, but it takes like a minute to reload the thing because it goes through the whole animation of like drawing the string back and taking the
one-hit kill if they don't have any armor on.
And so I was like, well, this is it. I got a crossbow, so I go and. I run over to the door where, like, I know the door is thinking. I crouch. I just put my guns pointed right at the freaking door and wait. And then all of a sudden I started hearing, like, footsteps, gunfire going on around me, and I'm just waiting. I'm like, I'm done. I'm screwed. And all of a sudden I hear footsteps, and he runs over to my house, opens the door, comes running in. I put the crossbow bolt right into his chest and dropped him instantly. It was really, because his body went ragdoll. I was like, and then dropped. So, that's probably the most satisfying kill I've ever had with the crossbow, like because it's just a gun you're not expected to use. You're looking for assault rifles or something along those lines that you can use at more distance, or a more powerful sniper rifle or something along those lines. But then
I don't know if I would like this, or if it'd be one of those things I played and died. I'm like, this, I'm done.
There's definitely a learning curve because you definitely have to like learn the game and get at least skillful with it, but
it is one thing, and then it's all based on like your style of play kind of thing. Because again, as there's 100 people on the island, eventually a circle like forms, and you have to get in that circle. If you're outside the circle, you will die.
Oh. So
And
it kind of forces
so
you
the
guys
circle
force
starts
everyone, yeah.
squishing in more and more and more until it's like extremely tiny. And Andrew, were you the one with us when it randomly was on the city, and I was the
The
last
what?
one alive? No.
I don't think that was.
So most of the time, it usually circles in on like a field or something along those lines, so it's more openish, and so you're trying to figure out like it basically forces you to engage in combat with somebody at that point. We got to the point where it was like it randomly like went on Severny, like the very top island thing. It randomly circled in on there, and it was
Yeah,
like on a
sometimes they'll do
courtyard of
that.
like a house. And it got to where it was the smallest circle possible. I was one of the 5 left alive. And I'm on the other side of the wall, had no grenades, nothing. But I could see them on the other side of the wall in the garage because of the third person perspective.
No way, that was me.
Yeah, you were there.
Yeah, I was there.
So I was
Yeah,
chucking-
like chuck grenade. I told him like throw a smoke grenade there, just make them panic.
So I threw a smoke grenade in there and it just starts going off, and they're like,
You see
them,
one
like-
guy like jet into like a corner because he heard something like a grenade come in. It was just funny to watch.
They eventually ran the corner, shot, and killed me. But again, it's another thing. Like when you get that the winner chicken dinner thing, like of being the last team standing, it's extremely satisfying. Like it is easily the most satisfying win you can get. Because I mean, it's one of those things. Like from playing Halo and Call of Duty and stuff like that, what I've done is like those are, hate to say it, but it's like easy for me or something along those lines when it comes to like that competitive. And with me and my team and stuff along those lines when we were playing Call of Duty. I mean, we had a game where we won 100 to 91. The 3 of us had 93 of our team's 100 kills. That's how bad our teammates were. But this game is like, man, just getting a kill is extremely satisfying. Or while you are learning how the game works and stuff. I mean, you can get into fist fights. You can fist fight it out with people if you just happen to land and you're like, well, all right, let's do this. And because I had one where like I ran to a house and the dude was like had come into the house and was like hiding behind the door, and he didn't. And I guess I don't know if he's a menu or he was like looking around the door third person and didn't hear me come in the other door. So I ran up to him to start punching him in the back of the head, and he starts panicking and like spins around, starts trying to fight me, and I knocked him down. When you're in teams, you get knocked out first, so your teammate can revive you, or somebody can kill you while on the ground. So I knocked him out, so he's on his knees. So I crouched next to him and just continued to punch him in the head till I killed him.
One funny thing that happened to me and a friend I used to work with. I forget where it was, but it was like a little house set up. There's like not like a big city, and then you have a house or over here, and like a house maybe like 10 or 20 feet away or whatever. And he goes, I finally, there's a guy in here. It's like, okay, I have a gun. Where is he? It's like, I don't know. He went to that house, so I got a 4X scope. I scope into like another house. I see where he is. He's in the bathroom. He was like in his inventory picking something up. So I took the easy shot, scoped in on the head, like hit him and knocked him. He's like, yeah, he's over there. Go finish him if you have anything. And I don't know if like the character model, he walks into the like little bathroom in the corner. He was looking at him when he sees him. And he said he was like accidentally hit to close his door while he was trying to punch him or whatever. But from what I saw, he see him walk in, look at the guy, look at the door, close the door, and it says your teammate killed. Like this, I'm like, dude, that was brutal. It's like I just messed up like hitting the doors. Like I don't know if I know you anymore.
But it's definitely extremely satisfying. I think I've put 60 hours into it now. And
Like
like I said,
190.
He's at 190. I think some of my other buddies are like 80 something, 90 something hours. But it's a $30 game. If you have a gaming PC.
So much fun with friends too. That's like
But
main.
playing solo is extremely scary because it's just you, and so you are trying to outlast and survive. I did make top 10 in one match. I was very proud of myself. But it's definitely one of those where you don't know who's around the corner. You come up on a house and doors are open. You're like, oh no, somebody's been here. Are they still here? I don't know. And then you're like, do I engage? Do I not engage? And I think the one where I found one where I like basically landed. All I could find was the pump action shotgun and a micro Uzi.
Nice.
It's not a good combo. So I eventually ran up and I was like, well, I found this house. I was like, okay, well, I guess I was like, maybe there's somebody over here. I was like, I'm
have to get up
done.
close.
It's like I got to 40. I was like, I'm done. Somebody kill me. Like I'm getting over this. So I go to a set of houses, get in there, and then I hear a Jeep pull up, and the guy gets out, and I hear him over in the other house away from me, and I was like, well, I'm just going to stand over here in the corner. And he comes over and opens the door and runs in and basically turns left and puts his back to me. So I unloaded the micro Uzi into him, but it's only had 25 bullets, so I was like, and like I can't even shoot right. So I hit him a little bit. And then I was like, well, so I ran into the bathroom to like reload. And so he had turned around trying to engage on me. And so then I was like, screw this, I got a shotgun. So I pulled the shotgun out and rounded the corner right when he was rounding the corner. And so I basically put like the shotgun to his head and pulled the trigger. And I was like, oh my God, I survived. So you live for moments like that in that game. But there's times when you'll land and you die instantly because you've landed with another team or...
you just picked a really congested spot.
Yeah. But it's... I'm excited for when that comes to Xbox. I'm interested to see how the playing with a controller feels as far as like inventory management and stuff along those lines. I had to buy a gaming mouse because like inventory and map was all like trying to figure out, like I'm just worried about WASD to freaking move. So like trying to figure out where M was for map or I for inventory or tab for inventory. I was like, so I bought a gaming mouse and mapped all that to the mouse. So I have buttons that do like the inventory and the map, and crouch and prone are all on the mouse. So it makes things a lot easier. So I'll be interested to see how when it gets to a controller and when it comes out there.
I just remember all those rants about I'm in front of a PC all day.
I know. This game changed all that.
I just think it's hilarious that you're like hooked by this one game.
It's just one game. That's the only reason. Now I'll come back to the Xbox, I think, when it comes back on, and then maybe try and play on the PC a little bit here or there. But I'm interested to see, because apparently Fortnite basically copied PUBG, and they came out with a Battle Royale mode. And I mean, they even admitted that they were like, we loved PUBG so much we wanted to try it in our game. And apparently it's free now. It's out. I was watching Zoom stream it last night.
Really?
So
that's awesome. I paid $59.99 for it.
Battle Royale is free. Fortnite is still
better about that.
But I'm interested to at least try it on console. It's still like the concepts were there as far as you're jumping, you're one of 100 standing. They have teams now they've added to it because she was playing with a team before. So I should try it on console just to see what it feels like and stuff. I mean, it's still like from watching it, I was like, this is no PUBG. But I'm interested to see where it goes from there. But
I just can't wait. The only bad, like, it's starting to feel, because I've been playing the same map for, when did I get that game? Like 4 or 5 months. And they were talking about, like, we have new maps coming. But it's like, I don't say I know the map like the back of my hand, but if I like watching a streamer and like see where he's walking around, I could pretty much tell where the map they are. It's like I kind of need a new map or whatever. But that's like a really fun. I'm still gonna play the crap out of it, but like still, I'm probably gonna put another 50 to 100 hours into it. But
I just randomly had a thing where I was like, time to review your settings. Like, thank you, Windows 10.
Windows.
Like, thankfully, it still stayed recording in the background, so at least it saved all that. But I was like, please go away. I'm using the computer right now. But yeah, apparently they have some new vehicles coming too.
I heard about that. You told me about the VW bus.
Yeah, they're bringing out a VW bus you can drive around in.
Which makes me happy.
So I shouldn't see like what they do with some more maps. I think they're building a desert map now.
They're building a desert map. That's one they've showed off. It's like a smaller like city block. It's supposed to be 4x4. And I think a winter one.
A winter one makes sense considering there's like all these different coats around, but it's like I'm running through a jungle or like a foresty area and stuff like that. It's very bright out, but somehow it's like, oh, here's this coat that's like a fur coat that's got like, or it's like a winter jacket. It's got a fur coat around thing. It's like I look cool, but I also look like I'm extremely hot. Anyways, that's what I've been playing. Love that game. I recommend it. I'm sure I'll talk about it again next time we're together. But another little bitty tiny game that not many people are playing came out called Destiny 2. So
by some people you might have heard called Bungie. I don't know.
Yeah, and they're a small little indie studio. They're not much to them. But anyways, so Destiny 2 is out. Chris Mason is our resident Destiny aficionado / expert / obsessed with the game a lot. So we will see what his opinions of Destiny 2 are. So Chris, take it away.
I'm enjoying it. I mean, I don't know what you want me to say. I was like, you knew I was going to enjoy it. There's a lot to it. I'm starting to see a few cracks in the game a little bit that there was that newness, but that I'm just so thrilled that they listened. This is what Bungie should have made Destiny. I mean, they said this is what Destiny was supposed to be. It's a great story. It's a good story. The campaign doesn't take that long to go through, but it's good. The narrative is good. The animation sequences are good. They kind of, they said things like there's a lot to do. There's lost sectors that are throughout the maps that basically you go in, there's a chest, you got to kill a yellow bar guy, an ultra there, and get the codes to unlock the chest, and you get stuff. The problem is, once you get to level 20, there's a lot of things in the game that were, man, this was awesome, man, this was fun. Now, this is kind of not cool, because I'm not going to get anything good. So, there's lost sectors in every area of every map of every world. But
there's pretty much no reason.
There is no reason to do that now, and that's kind of not what they talked about. They played up lost sectors like they were going to be something cool, and so I did read they're going to be reevaluating what to do with those, because it kind of feels like they got lost. If you don't do the raid right now, there's not many things that you can do that you can get stuff that's worth it. Once you get to the 265 power level, you start kind of plateauing out. So up until that point, it's amazing. Like, everything's worth doing. There's so many different getting rep for different things to do. Worth it. Every planet has tokens that you can get for that planet. Turn them in to get an Ingram and get something from the person on that planet. Not worth doing now once you plateau out, because they're not going to give anything above 265. So again, there's only a few things outside of the raid. The Nightfall, I'm not pleased with. The time limit on the Nightfall. If you guys haven't played the new Nightfall has a time limit of 11 to 13 minutes or something like that. And
I don't mind it too much, because it's meant to be a challenge. But that's
I
barely did them in the first Destiny, so this is literally my first thing with the Nightfall.
I ran Nightfall 3 times with 3 characters every week. So this annoys me just because we haven't. Kind of have to have a third person to attempt it,
You definitely do need a third person.
So that being said, we're still struggling with that. Just throwing that out there.
Hit me up on Xbox Live if you see it.
Tuesdays.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Just send a message.
They're changing what you do.
Find the DMs.
I'm just not used to you being existing on Xbox Live.
Yeah.
Dayside, as I'm not
on my sabbatical. We talked about this earlier.
Usually about the time I turn off is when you sign on.
They have 2 Destiny characters that are level 300 right now.
See, then all right, well, remember that. Make a mental note of that.
We've yet to complete the Nightfall once. We've tried.
Really?
Yeah, we haven't finished it once.
We tried. We the first time it was the kill enemies to get the extra time.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't even make it halfway.
What light level were you guys?
Well, we were 230 and 240.
Yeah, you gotta be a lot higher. I mean, it says recommended 240, but realistically, you have to be a lot
right
higher.
now we're in the
268 right
I'm
now.
270. I can get to 275 if I put everything on the right way.
Mm.
But the faction, I do like the clan rallies, the clan things, but again, it feels like only certain people are contributing, and I only have a 5,000 limit. But per character, but if everybody starts playing a little bit more, you could get those. But you get good stuff from there. Yeah, forget PUBG. But that's one thing you can get stuff that's at your light level. The public events, I like the frequency of the public events. I don't like.
Too frequent.
No, they're not. They're not, because you get good
fantastic
stuff from them, and if you turn them into heroic, you that's again a chance to get something.
I've gotten
that's worth
exotics
it.
out of that.
Yeah, I've gotten exotics out of it. I'm liking the exotics. I like the infusion. I like all the little details. The fact that the stuff that the Ingrams decode immediately.
I did like the when we were doing the one strike, and Chris and I just instantly were like, "We're going over here." Agent N was like, "Where are you going?" We're like, "There's a public event over here. We got something we got to do."
We're in the middle of a strike, and she's going to where the objective,
and
we are way on the other side of the map. We're like, there's a public event. We'll be there eventually. Just go on with that.
It's like we'll come back. We're on our way. Just let us finish this first.
I guess what I don't like about the Nightfalls is because I'm that kind of player. I like the grind. Like, I like the fact that, okay, I might be at 230, and I'm not supposed to be able to get through the Nightfall, but I got through it. It took me an hour and a half. But I'm willing to put in that hour and a half and grind through it. The fact that you have now eliminated that from me I feel like that should be like not every week. Like make it something that rotates out. The fact that there's a time limit every week, I'm not like
this week is like a pretty long. I think it's like a 22-minute like thing.
Well, the very last time we attempted it, it was shoot like oracles to get them.
Yeah.
Well,
that was dumb.
I don't know what they look like. B, I don't know where they're going to spawn, and they don't show up on the mini maps. So we shot like 3, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And we just let the time run out because we didn't know where anything else was. Again, it feels like there's something left out there, and I feel like okay, without the Nightfall, this is going to take forever to get up high enough to even attempt to go into a guided games.
Yeah.
I mean, I
think
like
it
the
was
guided
one of those
games.
that it was like they made it too difficult for no reason. It's like the game, it was difficult before, but now they're like, let's make it even more difficult. It's like I don't understand. Like I don't mind the time limit per se, whereas like if the time limit ran out, then like you could still keep going. You just didn't get a bonus or something. along those
It was
lines.
like the bounty that you got from Zavala. You had 30-minute time limit from Destiny 1. Like, okay, the time limit ran out, and we had that several times where it was just a tough one, and we ran out of time, so we didn't get the extra bonus good item from Zavala because we didn't do it in 30 minutes, but we still got the random good item for completing the Nightfall. You took that away from us. Again, you took the option away, and that's what you're starting to go down some of that. Not
I see
starting.
what you're saying with that.
It's that road where you're forcing me to play the way you want to play, and again, I don't quite like that because I don't mind the grind. I choose to grind.
Or especially when it's also when there's like again, like you're saying, like after 265, there's not a lot of like we don't have a Prison of Elders we can go run,
Right.
or the daily heroic or whatever it is. I don't know if there's.
They only have the only thing you really have are those weekly milestones to get powerful
Yeah,
gear.
the milestones, and like I said, the clan. If you max out the clan, that's a milestone that will give you some. But it's very other than the Nightfall. There's very little at this point that's going to give us anything to get us any higher. So we're kind of getting
You're
to that
waiting
stand.
every week.
Yeah, it's like once you get to that, like we'll play one night. Like right now, I can see us play like on Tuesday night. We'll go through and we'll play complete a couple of milestones, and then it's like, well, see you next week because there's nothing else other than a raid
Unless
or
you
Nightfall.
unless you get lucky and during a public event and exotic.
Right, and as Agent M so pointed out, some of us don't care to grind on public. And I'll tell you, like the Flashpoint. I like the Flashpoint. I think that's the CoD has. I think that's pretty cool. But I hate public events on IO, and I hate the Cabal drill.
Oh yeah,
Because if you're by yourself, they're
it's nearly
really
impossible.
difficult.
Those lasers.
Yeah, they're
Screw those lasers.
Yeah, F the lasers. If you're by yourself, again, it's more fun with more people. But again, like that's not something AGM likes to do. I like to do it, but again, it makes all the difference in the world. When I see 2 other people doing it, great. I'm by myself. This takes forever to do because I was using my hunter and I was trying to get him leveled up because I wasn't with her, so I was trying to get him up to the part where we can get to that point where we can say, oh, we need a hunter, oh, we need a titan, oh, we need a warlock. So kind of, I'm going to eventually get my titan up, but I'm trying to focus on getting my hunter. He's up to a 255, but like I say, with my warlock, he's just kind of sitting out there. I mean, I can do some of the milestones and they'll get him up a little bit, but I'm just nudging away because the two things that you do each week, that is where the best stuff is, where you can get stuff to get yourself up, are the 2 things I can't do without, other people to help me. So I know there's guided games, but I don't feel like I like the option. I applaud Bungie for that, and I just haven't participated in it. And that's my choice is I prefer doing it with people I know. I mean, I can do a guided game. Like, I can go onto a forum and find somebody to do the raid with. That's kind of not the point. I'd rather do the raid with you guys and, with Nora, with James, people that I know. I want to do the raid with people that I know. I want to do the Nightfall with, 2 other people that I know. I don't want to, I could go into the Nightfall and have somebody walk me through it, but I don't want to do that. It's not as much fun. It's not, again, not as satisfying. It's like, when we did the Nightfall, like, especially one that took a while, it was like, it kind of sucked when you got 12 strange coins out of it, but it was very satisfying to say, yes, we did that. We did it as a team. That's kind of the point of Destiny in a lot of ways. So I'm kind of, at that standstill right now where I think there's so many good things about it. Like I said, all the little intricacies. I love the different gun types.
I got sweet business.
Sweet Business is. I got that in the beta.
Man.
Oh, I love Sweet Business. I love Sweet Business, and I like the exotics. I randomly got an exotic sparrow. Didn't know those things existed the other day, so kind of cool. I was like, I like the ships. I like the fact that you can fast travel to different spots on the map. You don't have to just use your sparrow and get from point A to point B. The fact that you can jump to, I mean, it's little things like that to me.
The fact that there's just a map.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's definitely, I didn't notice it until like later when the faction stuff started happening. It's like, do these lost sectors in these little areas. I think it's like Titan's the water one, right?
Yes.
There's like a whole little subsystem of like little tunnels
underneath
under
it that you had no idea, because it only looks like there's
holy
two
crap.
spots, and then but it's leveled, so there's it's as big as the other areas. It's just they're not flush.
Yeah.
I think you could do a little bit better with that. Again, like kind of like the map symbol, because like when you're looking for Cade stashes, it just shows a spade. You don't know what level it's on, so you don't know if it's here. You know, so that makes things a little bit difficult. But I don't. Again, I'm kind of a small thing. Like I said, the biggest things I like doing right now are the things that I can't do. Like I said, I want the Nightfall to be challenging. That's the Nightfall, and I think the fact that the Nightfall was. I feel like the Nightfall was challenging enough to say, okay, if all three of you are dead, you're done. I'm like, okay, that kind of forced us to play, an agent like a defender kind of class to say, okay, you are. You're our savior. You're going to be the one that when we go down, you got to bring us back up. So it kind of forced a different play style. Now you're going the exact opposite, which is, okay, it's balls to the wall,
push.
Go, push. There's no sitting back, which, okay, I can see that. It's just, you got to do a better job of giving us the ability to make it through. And especially if you're telling me the minimum is like you say, if the minimum is this and I can get in, then you need to make it plausible. Yeah. It's not possible at a 240 light level to go in the Nightfall. It's not. I don't care which one it is. It's not possible with a 240 level. I don't care how good you are. Good. It's not.
It was rough.
It's not a skill set. It's a power level. That's what I don't like about it. This is different. Like when I play, like if I was playing Halo or Call of Duty or something, there's a different skill set. Like when you guys play, like when you play Halo, you know how to use the battle rifle. You know where to aim, and that's a skill set. This is not a skill set. I can chew through as many enemies, if not more, than anybody else because I can choose my weaponry. But
literally the math in the
it's
game,
literally they're literally the map. It just takes too long to kill these. Like we were talking about that first one, it just took too long to kill the guys. Like you get 7 seconds. Well, it took 30 to kill them, just because I had to reload 4 times. Yeah. I'm like. It wasn't, and I was hitting the head, so I was hitting the critical. So there's nobody, nobody else could have done it any better in the same light level, the same scenario with the same setup. So, Agent M.
Well, I don't like the infusion. You said you like the infusion. I don't.
What you don't like is the fact that it forces you to use the same thing. So
yes.
You're fair enough.
I get a sidearm that is the highest level I have, and I hate sidearms. I don't use it. But I can't infuse it into anything because you can only infuse it into another sidearm. Whereas in Destiny 1, I could infuse the sidearm into my scout rifle and not waste it. So the odds of me getting a scout rifle because I want another scout rifle, I'm not getting the scout rifle to infuse, so I can't use the weapon I like because now it's too low level. So now it forces me, in order for my power level to go up, to use a weapon that I don't want simply because it's the higher power level and I haven't been able to infuse it.
But I don't argue with anything you just said, but you have a good point. But I do appreciate the fact that, like, with sidearms.
Aim at the front of the mic, please.
I'm not a fan of sidearms. Okay, there's none so far. None of them are. I'm not a fan, but I like the fact that every once in a while, when I get the sidearm, and it is the one that came out the clan thing when I get from Hawthorne for the week, so it's now the most powerful thing I have. I'm going to now use it, and maybe eventually I'll find a sidearm that I like. I don't know. I like the fact that I would never, if you gave me the choice, I'll never use a sidearm. But if this is a way of them kind of forcing you to maybe find something else you like. But
you hate it when they force it on you.
I do, but I can appreciate this is a small, subtle, this is my choice. You're choosing to use it or not use it. That's your choice. Again, I like the choice, the option. I'm choosing, you can be a little bit more powerful, but you're going to have to use something you don't particularly like. But you have the option, or you can stick with what you do like, but you're not going to get.
And then I'm not powerful enough to complete the Nightfall.
But for the difference is if it was a difference of levels, you would do it. You wouldn't like it, but you could do it. We could go through the Nightfall, and then maybe you could get that scout rifle that you wanted that was even more powerful than that. But the fact is, we had the option to do it. We're at that standstill now where there's a lot of things that you don't have the option to do.
I also don't like the shaders.
Yeah,
yes,
I'm not
that's
big fan.
dumb.
Like, if I find a shader, I don't want to, that I use and burn it up. Then it's like, well,
I have 3 pink and purple shaders. I love them, but
He's all into it now.
but I can't use them because my gear isn't strong enough, and because I'm not going to infuse that because I'm assuming I'm going to find something better. Then I'm just sitting there with the nasty gray, whatever the default is, or I'm putting on the ugly shader that I don't care about because I'm getting ready to lose that piece of equipment anyway. I hate the fact that I have to use a shader and I can't reuse it. I can't take it off of the piece of equipment and move it to another piece of equipment that I like. Yes, yes, and it's not like I've got the currency I need to go buy the one I want because it's the bright dust or something from the
Silver
Eververse.
dust. Yeah.
So
I think that also the big thing is, like, even if I could, for the shaders and stuff along those lines, if it's a shader I like, if I could go to a vendor and it had all the shaders available, but I had to pay Glimmer, some absurd amount of Glimmer, or if it was like, hey, it's silver dust, but it's, you pay $5 real dollars, but it gives me 1,000 silver dust, and I can, each one's 100 silver dust for whatever reason, then, maybe I'll pay the $5 to make sure I have the shaders to make my armor look okay. That's, that is a
option.
Microtransaction, but it's a option that you can have. But the fact that they have come down when it comes to the shaders that, we wanted it to be like you wanted to go to that specific island or to that specific planet or something along those lines. But those planets and stuff have certain shaders to them. But I don't like any of them. But the ones I like are the ones that are sold by your silver dust thing, which maybe they're there, maybe they're not. They rotate out. It's like, where's the shader vendor? Where I can see every shader and I have the option to buy it.
And the fact that you can put shaders on weapons and shaders on ships and shaders on sparrows. Okay, and that's fine, and everything's individualized, but now, so you're going through so much, so the customization went from one end to the complete opposite. And like you say, I put a couple of shaders on. I like the fact that, when we completely got Glow Hoot for doing Crota's raid. I thought that was the coolest shader, and I used it all the time. We got a couple of different shaders from Rise of Iron. I enjoyed, putting on one shader and my whole outfit matched. I'm like, okay, well now you can match your own outfit, but only for right now. It's like, well then, if it's a loot system, if this is a gear
better like
game,
that stuff you're putting it on,
then exactly, you better like it. Like I said, only shader I've ever used, I used on an auto rifle because I've infused this one auto rifle several times, and I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna probably keep this auto rifle for a good while. And auto rifles are fairly common, so I can infuse it as I kept it. But again, so you're limiting me. Instead of using the different auto rifles, now I'm going to keep using my one auto rifle. So, like I say, there's some cracks in the game you can start seeing now, and these are where they come up. But overall, I think it's amazing. I think it's a great game. I just feel like I said, kind of plateauing out. I told H&M Sunday I feel like I'm gonna go back to, because we played Halo Wars 2 the last couple of nights before the podcast, but I want to get back into it because there's stuff this week. I can't afford to miss a week. Like I said, we're to that point where those few milestones are few and far in between, so I can't afford to miss a week's worth of milestones because we're nickel and diming our way up to get
or like
better gear.
For me, I was playing every Tuesday with you guys, and we were running the Prison of Elders. We had our rhythm to it and so on. I have fun doing those, but now that it's like, if I were to get on with you guys, it's like we're basically going, well, I guess we run the strikes. Which the strikes can be fun, but we have once we've repeated them 3 or 4 or 5 times, it's gonna be like, well, it's the same strike over and over again. And I'm excited when if they bring back Prison of Elders.
I'm sure they're gonna have something.
Prison.
I mean, but of course, what's the first thing coming is not Rise of Iron, no, Iron Banner.
Iron Banner.
That's
it was they did the Trials of the Nine, just recently.
But Trials of the Nine.
Again, that's where your gear matters.
I have a lot of complaints
as far as multiplayer goes, the fact you can't pick your game type is so stupid.
Oh yeah, that's another dumb thing.
That is another dumb thing. I mean, like you said, I played the competitive one. Just I'm like, well,
I
to
think
get
it
the
required
milestone.
you to-
competitive. If only
But
if
it
there was a
required you to do
milestone.
like the 2 quick play and then 2 competitive.
Yeah.
So I did my 2 competitive.
And that's it.
The first time I launched in, the second time I launched the competitive, my 3 teammates instantly quit.
Exactly. I had
And
that
it was
happen to me.
countdown, which I hate
Oh.
countdown.
Yeah, both my matches were countdown.
I'm not a big fan of multiplayer where it is like you have died, now you've got to wait.
I.e. the Trials of the Nine. I wish there was. Again, so far it's again you're focused on Crucible, you're focused on multiplayer. You got Iron Banner, Trials of the Nine. There needs to be the Prison of Elders to help offset the fact that you have all this stuff, because that's another reason that a lot of people are getting better gear is because if you play Crucible, you have a great chance to get light level gear, and that's amazing. That sucks if you don't want to play Crucible. I mean, and I like Control. Love Control. My favorite one is Control.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't mind Control. I can't play Control. I can play Rift or something. I might get Control. I might not. I'm like, that's silly. I'm like, I can't even play the game type that I like. So you really are forcing me to do that. That's just so silly.
Yeah, but I did the competitive one when my 3 teammates quit. I just ran directly at like the other guys. And I just started dancing.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Me. So I was like, just get it over with.
The other thing is like Trials of the Nine needs to have like I think there's a lot of balance issues because and there's supposed to be like a ranking system. It's like you've played this many matches or whatever. The people that play Trials of the Nine, that's all they effing do. And then it's like you just get demolished. There's no like ranking system. Like, all right, you guys haven't done that many trials. Let's put you with these guys that haven't done like every other competitive multiplayer game, Rocket League, Overwatch, everything is like it's like I don't know. Then I kind of have an issue with the power weapon ammo being in like a highly competitive because it's like, oh, I'm standing here. Oh, that randomly spawned. Grab that rocket launcher.
It's really quick. And it's a lot of it. Instead of having 2 spots on the map or something like it, it's like everywhere. And I'm like, okay, now there's not a shortage of rockets because once you get to that point, it's like, okay, I'm just getting blown up, and I don't particularly care if I feel like it needs to be like a sought after thing, like it was.
I think you should like start the map. It's like, all right, you have only this many of whatever, and then that should be. I
was never a fan of Trials of Osiris. I'm not a fan of the Trials of the Nine. I don't think I will ever play Trials of the Nine. Because if I have 2 other people I'm playing with, there's a whole lot of other things I'd rather do that are much more satisfying than a one-hit kill sniper rifle shot from somewhere else. I'm dead. Now I'm dead for the entire match. I'm like, it's just, I don't want to do that. If I want to do that, if I want to do Trials of the Nine, I'll play Call of Duty. I mean, like that's, to me, the people playing Trials of the Nine are Call of Duty players. And I'm like, you want that? Go to Call of Duty. Go do your Call of Duty thing. That's not what Destiny and multiplayer typically is about. And it should be objective based.
I also hate that they went to 4 players for the multiplayer for Crucible.
Yeah, I thought 6 was right.
6 felt fine. Like we've had instances though where it was like if Bert was on,
kick somebody off.
Also now it's like we have 5 players or something along those lines, or 5 or 6 players, and now it's like, well,
Someone
we
has
can't.
to be
There's
the
nothing
odd man
for
out.
us to do. Because we're not powerful enough for the raid.
Just run the raid.
I said we're not powerful enough for the raid, but that's the only thing to do if you have 6 people on. And at least with the Crucible, if we could choose control.
Well, like Iron Banner, like if they I'm curious to see what they do with Iron Banner. But again, it's only going to be 4 people because they got Iron Banner right. I feel like the last in Rise of Iron, the fact that you had bounties that you could do that weren't based on kills, they were based on assists, they were based on participation, but you got some great gear, and every match that you played had a chance to give you light level based gear. I feel like they finally got Iron Banner right, and it made me okay. I'll play some Iron Banner now, and sometimes I was better than others, but either way I got stuff. So I still, even the matches I lost, I still kind of enjoyed it. Where I'm not typically a Crucible player, I want to see how they're going to do this Iron Banner because. If you say it's control, or if you're just going to say it's competitive. Because if you say it's control, or if it's countdown, or what's the one that we like that's like kill confirmed?
Oh. I forget what
Clash or something
No,
like
not
that?
Clash is just team deathmatch.
Yeah, there's Clash, Rift, the one where the Ingrams drop, the shields,
Supremacy.
Supremacy, yeah, that's it. So, Supremacy, I'm like, there's a couple of game types I liked, and Iron Banner cycled through those game types, and I'm like, okay, that's fine. But if they're going to say, well, this is going to be competitive, and I'm like, and they're going to alternate like right now, like that, again, I can't stress how silly it is that I can't even pick the match type that I like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where I was like, running back to Call of Duty. It's like all we ever played was team deathmatch. It's like, but like, give me that choice. Or it's like, you know, when we played Destiny 1, we played Control. We didn't care about anything else.
You know, if they put Iron Banner as like Rift, I'm like, well, I'm not going to play it. Or
Yep.
maybe I'll play a match or something, but I'm like, I'm not going to play it. But then I knew, all right, it'll be different the next time Iron Banner comes around. So the next time it came around, it was Control or it was something like, all right, now I'll play. I'm kind of curious to see what they do with Iron Banner. I like the fact that Xur is hanging around for like all weekend instead of
He's
just
in a
Friday.
random tree. That was like
That was
I was
awesome.
like,
That
what
was
are you doing
awesome.
in a tree, dude?
The fact that he's on planets and like in a tree branch. I'm like, I laughed when I was like,
Yeah.
okay, he really is up here. I was like,
And he definitely acts a lot more like a crack addict now than ever. He's like twitching and like, the only thing he's missing is like scratching his neck or whatever.
yeah, I'm curious where the stories go. I'm curious to see where the DLCs
There's
go.
a story in this game too.
Yeah,
I
the story's-
remembered it. I could tell you what
The
happened.
story was awesome. I like the fact that there's a lot of lore in game that we could, you know, a lot of you go back and listen to a lot of our previous Destiny rants.
Yeah.
A lot of the things we've ranted about, they have fixed in this game.
Somebody made a joke. It was like, when it's that kid you picked, like some meme or something like that. It was like, when it's that kid you picked on in school and he's grown up, and it showed a picture of a grunt and then a picture of the main bad guy from Destiny. It's like, it's like he looks like a
Gary.
grunt, like just grown up. It was really funny. Andrew, what do you think of Destiny?
I mean, it feels like it. One thing that I didn't. It seems like they fixed the leveling to where it kind of like, at least for me, it feels like I'm consistently leveling. I'm not like a hard cap. There was a little bit of a stall in like 365, but then you do those weekly things.
265. You said
Yeah,
265. I was like, man, if you're at
365, we need to talk. I
Yeah.
mean, 'cause, like, what are you doing?
I don't know. I found it very enjoyable just running in, even just like running strikes by myself to do like the weekly stuff, and it's just like like pay attention every Tuesday. All right, gotta run through these, and then the only thing is like the raid, which I haven't done yet, but for the heck of it, me and like 3 other people just ran to the raid, like just ran that first little killing room for like 45 minutes. I got 4 legendary Ingrams out of that.
Nice.
So that was kinda
I've
fun.
done that before. I've gotten to that first part and just seen how far I can do.
Mhm.
You know, I did that with which we never did. We finished the last raid, the machine, Wrath of the Machine.
Yeah.
But I'm hoping.
Probably randomly pick up a bomb and it was like just.
Yeah, where is it at? I'm like, I don't know. It was right here, guys. Don't make it mad at me. It was right here. I saw it, and Tim was like, man, I might have picked that up.
I picked it up and threw it. So I didn't know it was a thing you had to do. You guys just told me to stand here and shoot stuff, which I did.
You did.
But then I thought a bomb was landing on me, and it gave me the option to pick it up and throw it. So I did. I didn't know that was a thing, the mechanic for the game. That was pretty funny.
Yeah, but I'm enjoying it. I'm looking forward to just play. It's not blowing me away, but I'm having fun collecting the guns and getting the gear.
Yeah, I mean, it's fun.
Solid.
I would
fun.
play Tuesdays. I'm committed to PUBG.
I want more.
Walmart chicken dinners.
Well,
I want more. I mean, that's always going to be like that. I want more. I want more things to do with the fire team. Like, we can get 3 people sometimes, but you know, you look in that clan, and we got like what 8 or 9 people in the clan. You even added, was it Dunk?
He was from the first one. He
Okay.
doesn't have Destiny 2.
Didn't have Destiny 2?
No.
Oh.
He was going to get it, but he's the other one that's like extremely addicted to PUBG.
Okay, y'all need it. Come back over every once.
He had it pre-ordered and everything, and then he was like, I bought this gaming PC, and then we're playing PUBG, so yeah, we're playing PUBG. So he canceled his pre-order. But yeah, it was pretty funny. So he'd been looking at gaming PCs for months, and it took somebody else like the nudge. So like when I bought mine, I was like, hey, I bought it, and he was like, all right, I guess I'll buy mine too now.
Okay, that's not a good sign. That means something's wrong. She's trying.
All right. On that note, we need to end this. The cat has told us that we got to stop so that H&M can deal with that. So thank you for listening. Follow us on Twitter, VAHOMA_podcast. I am VH_Nyler. Andrew is MetalBlade85. Chris is Ludacris316 or Hank Nova 316.
Whichever one.
Yeah, whichever one you want to follow. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. That'd be nice if you hit the little button if you're watching this on YouTube. So maybe we can see maybe 1 or 2 subscribers more. That'd be great. And we appreciate it. So thank you for listening. I know we had to end this short, but actually we went longer than our last few podcasts.
I think that was pretty long.
As we're at like an hour and 10 minutes of podcast time.
We recorded a 30-minute chunk before then, right?
No, it was like 10 minutes. This is at an hour. So, but we're good. So thank you for listening. We appreciate it. Bye.
Bye.